Uh, well, it's good to meet you, Al. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and tell us kind of how you got started in the LinkedIn sort of brand management space?
Well, thank you. Well, I'm an author. My book is called The AI LinkedIn Advantage. And I created this book to help a lot of people understand about how AI and LinkedIn could be very beneficial. I think, title of my book is over here, AI LinkedIn Advantage. And what's great about it is that people are kind of like really not understanding how to use LinkedIn effectively. And the book really shows you by using AI technology, you can actually enhance your profile and be better at outreach by making connections with people who want to connect with you because of the value that you bring to them. And certainly AI does present that opportunity to bring a lot of value. And I've been working on LinkedIn since its inception, I would say. So at least over 20 years. So I really have a lot of knowledge of what is happening and try to keep up to date on what's going on with the changes in the algorithm. So hopefully this podcast will shed some light for people about how to use LinkedIn more proactively, I would say.
That's very, very interesting. I'm most surprised by the fact that LinkedIn is 20 years old, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, well, time flies, when you're having fun. But it has been around for that while, and it's been incredible in terms of the growth I've seen ever since Microsoft took over. It's really been tremendous in terms of having people connecting from B2B to B2C, and it really is a great way to offer a way to connect, whether you're looking for a job or you're looking for opportunities in your business. This is definitely a place to make a presence and be uh, be a pioneer, I guess, a thought leader if you'd like to be, in the area
Right.
because it's great to be on this platform.
Do you think that the LinkedIn space is more useful for people who are sort of industry leaders, thought leaders, those sort of top of the echelon folks?
Well, yeah, definitely, because it's something that a lot of people are using, whether they're looking for a job or maybe inquiring about a company that they want to buy out. They're certainly going to look at LinkedIn first to see what is happening with that particular person's profile or their company. And you'd be quite surprised that a lot of times they use it to determine whether they want to do business with someone, based on simply by you looking at their profile.
Nice. Is transacting business the point, or is it just networking?
I would say it's a combination of both. Certainly, it is a huge networking opportunity because you can connect with people literally all around the world, which is amazing. And for those who are looking for jobs, a lot of employers are using LinkedIn to find the next employee. So certainly having a profile that's optimized will certainly catch the attention of a potential employer. And that's something where my book helps in helping to, have a profile that's optimized, have a way to, show that you are someone they should consider first before the competition. So that's something we are definitely are interested in.
Kind of another component of that brand building thing that everybody's worried about these days, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's something that a lot of people certainly can take advantage of, and it gives you so much to work with. LinkedIn certainly allows you. I mean, it's a free service for the most part. You can post your information, whether you have recommendations from people, which is great, or any job opportunities that you can notify people that you're in the market for new job opportunities. Maybe there's someone out there who's looking to hire you based on your skills that they see in your profile. It is amazing.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how AI helps with that then.
Well, what it does is that LinkedIn, as you know, is kind of like a search engine in a way. And when a lot of times, let's say an employer is looking for a potential employee, they'll use search words, keywords. And if you have these keywords in your profile, most likely you'll be found first before anyone else. And that's something that AI can actually help to create a profile that is very much of interest to your target audience. So if someone is looking for a job in a certain industry, they may work for certain keywords in part of their profile, create content like articles that a potential employer may be looking to know more about. I think that creates a lot of potential. So AI can actually help to create the content and keywords to be found.
All right. So the kind of general strategy is still kind of the same it's always been, but AI is now a tool you can use to pump out the content and maybe refine your actual brand image, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have it something to be optimized, to help stand out because you're in a competitive situation regardless. So you need to be one step ahead, and AI will give you that tool, that leverage that normally you wouldn't have if it wasn't available.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I have a weird question. Maybe not weird, but this is something that does occur in my brain. Just for a little bit of background on me, I'm a lawyer. We work in big law firms on templates. Templates are things that other lawyers generated, I steal, and then maybe I add my voice to it. But for the most part, it's the same document being used over and over and over and over again. I have a small theory that everybody relying on AI is going to ultimately result in everybody's profile, website, and online presence generally looking identical because we're just operating off of the same templates. And then AI receives those templates. At a certain point, it feels like the creativity and the uniqueness and the ability for humans to come up with a very strange thing that nobody else has come up with is going to like phase out. What do you think about that?
I think the opposite. I think that it allows you a lot more creativity, and you can tell AI no look like the rest of the people. Give it the right prompts, and you can
Okay.
have your profile be outstanding. It's just whatever information you give it. The prompts that you tell the AI to use will help customize it in a way that it comes across as being authentic and not like a cookie cutter way of looking at it.
How do people accomplish that? I imagine most people are probably not even capable of writing a prompt to spit out something usable, let alone extraordinary.
Well, you can start with a simple tool like ChatGPT, for example, and ask ChatGPT to create 10 different prompts for a profile for an attorney. And it may give you examples of, things. And the more you feed it, the better it is. What type of attorney? A trademark attorney and what certain keywords you want as part of your profile. And they may select certain keywords based on that. And they, research, the various sources to come up with a scenario. Again, it's a refinement, but in the end result is that you'll have a profile that will stand out for that attorney to, be different than what's out there. And that could be, that's the advantage you'll have versus other people who don't access that information.
Okay. Do you have a background in like brand building generally, or was LinkedIn kind of your doorway into this?
I've been on the platform for over 20 years, so I've gained a lot of experience from using it. And I wrote the
Uh huh.
book that really kind of showcased what I've learned over the years. And most people seem to be amazed at the things you can do with AI that they couldn't imagine. And it only, in the past 5 years, it's only really been kind of taken off in a way. So prior 15 years, it wasn't really that didn't exist at all. So now is the time.
Okay. Okay. So, my podcast has a small framework that I like to use in order to talk to people about things that they've learned, done, or taught. And that's really the framework is learn, do, teach. Your book falls into the category of teaching, but you had to do the do part to build the book. I'm kind of interested in what you made you think that you needed a book written and kind of what the process of writing that book looked like.
Well, the fact is, I looked in the marketplace to see if there were any books out there on AI and LinkedIn together, and none existed. And I said to myself, well, guess what? If I don't do it, somebody else will. So for me, that's was an incentive right there. And I've done books before. This is like my 10th book. So for me, this is just much easier to do, especially nowadays with digital technology. You can print books, pretty much one at a time. And it's compared to my first book, which was really a trial and error for the most part. But I think that by having a book, it establishes yourself as a thought leader, as an expert. And that was something that I needed to do because, I'm in a highly competitive field and I need to stand out. And that's certainly something that was of interest. I really, the fact of offering it to a lot of my customers who are looking for a resource to turn to when they have doubts about on the platform how to use it. So I think a book is a great way to use.
Yeah, books are and YouTube are the primary way that I learn specifically, and I have strong faith in both of those platforms. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, how practically speaking, on the do portion of the framework, how are we using AI? What kind of tools are we using to bolster which parts of your LinkedIn profile?
Well, for example, it helps you with creating content, and content, as you know, is king on LinkedIn because it'll help you create articles that help you establish yourself as a thought leader. It can write scripts for you for videos. It can help respond to influencers that when they post, you can comment on the post with something that's more than like, oh, thanks for sharing. Provide something that's a little more in depth. And a lot of
Okay.
times the influencers will basically reply back, with thanking them. And if their post goes viral, guess who gets taken along with that? You, as a result of that. So you benefit from, working with these influencers to promote your brand.
Interesting. So I guess that's really what a lot of folks are using AI for in many arenas is the content generation and nope, generating the content, which I've played around with it a little bit myself. And I do think the prompt engineering portion of AI is still maybe a little bit beyond the grasp of the average person. Are there tools? I know you mentioned you could ask ChatGPT to draft the prompt, but you kind of have to have a prompt to ask for the prompt. And I wonder if there's something on the horizon or maybe some tools that are available now that are going to make it a little easier for people who don't have an understanding of how to actually frame a question uh, to be able to prompt these AI systems.
Well, in my book, actually, I have a free resource that gives you about 100 prompts to ask your AI on various different topics. So that's a free resource available in my book. And so to take advantage, you use it as an example of actual prompts that are effective. And then once you use that, you'll develop on your own, versions that, are catered to your particular industry. So there's no reason not to take advantage of it. Books are definitely a way to get information. My book definitely has resources and creating prompts. So it's a matter of being motivated to do that. And most people kind of procrastinate for the most part. And hopefully this will give an incentive to do something that could be very useful.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Getting giving tools to make things a little easier is definitely going to help a lot of people get sort of off their butts. So in that way, I think AI is going to be super helpful. That's interesting. So what's on the horizon? What's next that you think is going to be sort of revolutionary or helpful?
Well, I think the way we're doing searches right now, like platforms like Google and Yahoo, are going to be pretty much gone in 5 years. I think the new things nowadays, like Perplexity, is a great AI tool that's going to revolutionize how we do searches. And it's going to give you information without the ads and without misleading. It's going to get right to the source and give you such a value that I think people won't even think twice about it when looking at it. I mean, look back years ago. I mean, what was the biggest thing at the time 20 years ago? Yahoo was just in the infancy, but I think before Yahoo was MySpace. Well, guess what? Where are they now? You know, the same thing I believe is going to happen with Google.
Okay, that's interesting. When I was a kid in the 90s, we had a lot of movies and TV shows, especially on the Disney Channel, that hypothesized the future and what the devices would look like and how access to information with like a screen that's just in front of your face. When you have access to this AI thing, and then Facebook, I think, has goggles that you wear that throws a screen out in front of your face. How long before that's a contact lens in your eyeball? And we really do have this futuristic no screens, no hardware, access to all of the information in the whole wide world. That's going to be a very interesting future.
Yeah, great. It's definitely a great time to be alive, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Are you running courses on this stuff or just promoting the book through podcasts?
Both, actually. Well, I have a website, linkvantage.com. People can go access. I have online courses. I also do one on one training. And I also provide a free resource for those who want to optimize their profile. You can go to linkvantage.com/audit, and you can access my free profile checklist to help optimize your LinkedIn profile. So hopefully you can check it out. And I don't require an email at all. So you can just access it. And, that's really a great thing.
Nice. All right. So through that work, what is the top maybe two or three things that the average DIYer is kind of screwing up on their LinkedIn file?
Very simple. They're not optimizing the profile, whether they're using a crappy photo they took, with a selfie, or don't even use anything in the background image. I mean, a whole host of things like, we don't have enough time in this program to talk about. But certainly, I would say that you should not do any type of outreach unless you get your profile optimized, because it really is going to, put you at a disservice and a disadvantage. So I think a lot of people really just jump in the gun and think that, the profile is going to work for them, but it really is not. That's my checklist gives you certain tools. I've got 27 tools focus in on and how you can make sure your profile looks as good it should be when you do any kind of outreach.
And for your purposes, optimized kind of means that you satisfied each of those items on that checklist?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It gives you a very comprehensive way to go through it and see if your profile has these certain, attributes that are essential for making a profile look that stands out.
Interesting. All right. Are you a fan of using AI for the profile pictures or the banners?
Well, I mean, certainly Canva, which is uses some AI technology for the background images, I think is definitely useful, and it gives you ways to highlight some of your skill set, which is unique. And you can certainly use AI to enhance your photo. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it looks like you. I mean, I think that's definitely helpful. But the end result is that the AI technology can help you stand out by having keywords on your profile, having a bio that looks polished, and that's something that is very helpful. A lot of great tools out there besides ChatGPT. There's Grammarly, which helps you to edit and construct sentences that make sense. So I think people can avail themselves of that. So a lot of great tools that you can use to really stand out.
Okay. LinkedIn is doing video stuff now. I don't remember exactly when they implemented that, but what kind of tools can we use to make ourselves look good on videos on LinkedIn?
Well, I think the ideal thing when it comes to LinkedIn is that your videos should be short, anywhere from 30 seconds to 90 seconds tops, and it should really offer value who you're connecting with on there. So provide something educational is always going to be well received, I would think, particularly if you're going to be posting not just on your own profile, but also into groups. And I post into groups on LinkedIn at least 3 times a week. And I usually get a lot of great, reviews on that because LinkedIn algorithm loves it. So that I think is essential if you want to get any type of outreach growth is to begin the videos.
Videos being essential on LinkedIn, is that what you said?
I would say if you want to get, for example, if you're doing posts, a lot of people are using just text posts. And I mean, that's okay, but it's really something that doesn't stand out like a video would stand out. Just take a look at other examples of other platforms. Look at TikTok. Do you think it'd be so successful with just only a text post? No, it has the videos. Look at
Okay.
YouTube, the same thing, so LinkedIn loves videos and a lot of people do as well. So I think it's definitely a way to use it to your advantage if you have a video you know, share it with others.
Yeah, you might be right because I'm pretty sure like half of the social media platforms started off with images only and now they all have video. So that must be impactful, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, just look at the growth of YouTube. I mean, the channel is exploded with so many videos out there on all different topics. And the same thing when it comes to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is trying to encourage that, and the algorithm is rewarding you by giving you much greater reach than you would if you just did a text. So it's just a matter of an AI can actually help create a script for that video. So there's nothing wrong in doing that. You can even take your podcasts that you have right over here and showcase examples on LinkedIn, in the form of a video, a certain sample that you could share with people, which is great. So they can be encouraged to check out your podcast. I mean, that's a clear example right there is to use that to your leverage.
Interesting. What do you think about using AI generated videos? Not just the scripts, but the actual whole video.
As long as it's gonna give value to whoever you're connecting with, there's nothing wrong with it. If it's something that I mean, look at nowadays, I mean, Disney has, a huge cartoon, vault of movies and such, and it's very popular. Not real people, obviously, but the fact is that people will appreciate it more because a lot of times people really don't have the time to really kind of scroll through text and things, and they wanna get immediate information, and sometimes even they listen to it on their phone, like an audio version of it, and that's really helpful. So that's always going to be an advantage compared to just simple plain text.
Interesting. I never thought about other platforms. When I consume YouTube or even podcasts on like Spotify or something, I rarely am actually watching the video. I'm listening to the audio and the phone is somewhere else on a table and maybe I have a headphone in. Are you are you seeing a lot of that with LinkedIn? I mean, I guess it's not a pure video platform, but you can put sort of longer form videos on there, right?
Well, you can, but I think there's always a challenge in terms of the length, I believe, on there compared to, let's say,
Uh-huh.
YouTube, which you can do 2, 3 hours. I
Uh-huh.
think usually, and of course, the people who are viewing it is have a very short attention span. 30 to 90 seconds is what you look at as a video, and then maybe encourage them to go to a separate website to learn more about, the services or what you're offering as a result of the videos. You have to really kind of be strategic in the use of video.
Do you use LinkedIn to figure out what you're planning on offering?
Mean like providing a service for someone, or
Yeah, so ostensibly everyone on LinkedIn is trying to promote their business, but what about these young folks who haven't yet figured out what their business is going to be and they're looking for, the marketability. They want to test the water on a specific idea or something like that.
well, I mean, they can create polls on LinkedIn to ask people what they think of, A/B things and such. I guess it depends on how many followers they have. That may make sense, but I think that if a young person is looking to do something on LinkedIn, they have to decide what direction they're taking. If they're, let's say, a young attorney that is looking to make a presence on the platform, they should first start by creating content that's going to resonate with their target audience. So I would create articles, I would create a newsletter. Newsletters are a very powerful tool that actually gets through as soon as it's published. Those followers get notified immediately. In addition, they also have the ability to get into the in-mail boxes or the email boxes that really are a powerful way of reaching, because LinkedIn has such a high authority that it bypasses most spam filters and people receive it directly in their inbox. So that's a great way to connect and establish yourself as a thought leader when you're just getting started.
Interesting. So for a young professional, maybe just starting their career or 1 or 2 years into their career, what's the roadmap look like for building your LinkedIn? What's the first part of the profile you need to focus on? What type of tools should they be looking at right out the gate? Because obviously some of these are going to cost money and they have to build up the momentum. What's the low hanging fruit?
What they should do to get started, I would say, really is to create content that's going to resonate value to whoever they want to connect with. Besides, once you have your photo in place and your background image, you got to create, ideas that are going to be of interest to people, because everybody is trying to, I would say, sell other people if they're in that industry. So you really need to be different about it. And how you do it is to educate. What I do when I connect with people is always offer something of value. And most people usually are, well, they like that fact. They're not being sold. And that's something that could be of incredible giving to someone. And I would say that if you're connecting with someone and you don't really know the person, I would just follow them first before even actually making a connection, because you'll find yourself at a disadvantage if you connect with them and they decide they don't know who you are. They'll not, receive your connection, and that could work against you in a way that the algorithm will look at you as a possible spammer. So you want to kind of avoid that. And by following an individual, maybe commenting on their post, will give you the ability to maybe decide to connect at that time if they are thankful for what you respond on their post. And usually most people are.
I might have misheard you there. Did you say LinkedIn will sort of penalize you if somebody doesn't accept your request to connect?
Yeah. They do it based on volume. If you send out 100 invitations and 90 of them people who don't know who you are, well, guess what? LinkedIn is going to restrict your account. May not be
Wow.
immediate, but they may, certainly slow it down. And if you continue down that path, you'll find that your account can be restricted by, because you be considered as a spammer. People don't know who you are, and you're trying to make connections with them. And let's face it, I mean, unless the first thing to do is to look at your profile, who your connections are. If they don't really know who you are, I mean, I know myself, I won't accept anybody, because the fact is that most of the time people who are trying to reach out to me are just trying to pitch slap me, and I and expect that. You know what that term is, right?
pitch slap I'm excited about. Tell me more about that.
Very simple. And you probably experience it as well when you connect with someone on LinkedIn, right? As soon as you connect with them, what's the first thing they do? They pitch you. They just give you a certain sales pitch. And guess what? They couldn't care less whether or not, who you are or how you are. They just want to sell. And that's really what they
Oh,
do
that
right off
makes
the bat.
sense. Okay, pitch slap,
Yeah.
one of the coolest terms I've heard in recent history. I appreciate that one. That's interesting. And so your idea of optimizing the profile first using your matrix in your book, that can help defeat the I don't know you clicks.
Well, it certainly will give you the ability to, because as soon as somebody sends you an invite, and what I do naturally is I look at the profile. And if the profile really hasn't been updated or really lacks anything at all, or even looks like a bot for the most part, I mean, yeah, I'm going to decline that. But if it's optimized and you've got over 100 recommendations like I do, well, guess what? Naturally, I'm going to accept because I got third party endorsements. All right. I got articles, I've got videos, I've got things that show me being authentic as a thought leader. And people are usually thrilled when they get an invite. Mm, that's the difference between using optimization versus not. It's a matter of you getting the connections you're looking for.
Okay, cool. Are there AI tools that can help with building the recommendations and the different skill attributes that you're looking to have on your profile for that optimization?
Well, when it comes to recommendations, and of course, always the first thing is working with people that you've had a relationship with. That's the best time to ask for a recommendation. So if you provided a value for someone, just ask them for some kind words. If they're on LinkedIn, there's no reason why they can't do that, and make it easy for them to do that. Give them some suggested kind words. I mean, just there's a lot of people who don't know what to say to somebody. And that's something that is very extremely important. A third party endorsement, and that what's great about it is that once you get a number of these, you can put it on your own personal website and recommendations of real people, and you have a link that goes directly to the LinkedIn profile so they can ask him, "Hey, you work with Cameron? Oh yeah, he's great." That's really going to make a difference. I mean, how many recommendations do you have on your profile now?
I actually have no idea. I don't actually pay too much attention to my LinkedIn profile. It's been going on forever. To be frank, I have probably 12 to 14 years of non lawyer stuff on there that I need to figure out how to get rid of to sort of hone in my profile.
Okay.
Let's
Well, there
see.
you go. My book definitely could be of value to you. I certainly use the checklist right alone. But
All
the
right.
fact is that you are beginning your journey as a podcaster. Obviously, you're looking to get guests on your program. So if you want to have any kind of outreach that's going to be effective, you should have a profile that at least talks about your podcast, as well as maybe a recommendation from someone who's been on your actual show, like myself. All right, which I'll be happy to
Right.
do after we complete our program. So you can use that as a first step. And whoever you are connecting with afterwards, whoever your next guest is, do the same thing. And before you know it, you get 52 episodes, you can have 52 recommendations. And that really is going to help your profile stand out tremendously because you are, getting endorsements from these individuals who are real people. And that's going to be tremendous.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Is there a difference between a business profile and a personal profile on LinkedIn, or will all the same rules apply regardless of which profile you're trying to fine tune?
Well, certainly, if you have a business, you should have a separate page for that purpose. And whatever you post on it would be business related. And the reach is not as great as a personal profile, but it does provide a way for someone to validate who you are by the company you're with, and if the company is active, and certainly have followers that certainly could give reassurance to everyone who's connecting with you that you are who you say you are. Because there are a lot of situations where profile cannot be real, so you need to have some authenticity, and certainly by having both really provides that ability to do.
Nice. All right. Are you
You can
working on
even
anything new?
yeah,
Sorry,
actually,
go
I'm
ahead.
working on my own podcast actually.
Is that
So that
right?
hopefully will be released in October, and it's going to be called I keep forgetting the name. AI, no, come to me because it's so new anyway. But it's really going to be talking about basically AI technology and LinkedIn And it's going to be 4 times a week. It's going to be less than 10 minutes each episode, but it's going to talk about different aspects of AI technology and using LinkedIn to optimize whether it's your profile or for your outreach, and some of the latest tools that are coming about because things change at a moment's notice. So I'm pretty much on top of what's happening. Give advice to people who want to know what's happening in the industry.
Nice. So you got a book, you got a podcast. Where else can people find you?
My website, linkvantage.com. You can go to linkvantage.com/audit and get my free LinkedIn optimization profile. And we don't need an email to get it, so which is great. Make it very easy. My book is available on Amazon as well as Barnes& and Noble and other fine retailers. And if you like audio, it's available on Spotify.
Very cool. And if anyone wants that one-on-one coaching you talked about earlier, that's at the website.
Yeah, go to my website. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. Follow me. I'm happy to connect.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely have all that information linked in the show notes for the podcast, especially the LinkedIn. That's the most important part, right? And it was a pleasure speaking to you, and I'll look forward to seeing how your podcast shows up in October.
Awesome. And don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll accept it
Absolutely.
and give you a recommendation. All right. Have a good one.
Awesome.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thanks.